This is the Lighthead Online Video Show. On the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, we just interviewed Gayatri Unikrishnan of the International Well Building Institute. And we had a great chat. She told us a little bit about what they do and why it's important. And this is an introduction to the show, Greg. I mean, I think the Lighthead people maybe want a sort of compact version of what we talked about with her.
Yeah, and that's what we dive into here, and it sums it up. I think we had about a 40-minute conversation with her, but this will be just a 10-minute highlight of what we talked about and our opinions on it.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy it. This episode is brought to you by Keystone Technologies. Go to KEYSTONETECH.com, baby. KeystoneTech.com. You got 15 seconds, Eric. What do you like most about Keystone?
I just like their slogan, Light Made Easy. They make it easy for you to order. They make it easy for you to get the product. They make it easy for you to install. Everything about it is easy. Boom.
So what do you think of the Well Building Standard? We just interviewed Gayatri Unikrishnan from Well. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, I think the concept is definitely there. I mean, I think it's important, and I notice it a lot of times when I'm in a building. I was starting to read a little bit about it. I'd be prepping for the podcast a little. Surprisingly, we do that sometimes. But
sometimes
I saw that, certain things like I read a lot about the lighting, but then also like access to water, access to daylight, clean water, clean air. All that stuff does matter, and you can definitely tell when you're in a building that it might not be well certified, but you can tell that it has some of those qualities, and those qualities make a big difference in where you're at, whether you're working there or whether you're visiting, whatever the case is. So I think the concept is definitely there and makes sense to me.
You know what? Okay, so flicker free, box checked. More daylight, box checked, for sure. But when you start to get into that circadian photobiology stuff, I don't know if I want to blast somebody with 120, foot candles, man, or whatever it is.
I think that's difficult to do with anything because everybody reacts differently, and like you said in the podcast, is that some people want lights out, or they don't want lights above them. They just want to be focused on their screen. They might be a designer, a computer designer, or something that they actually don't want all that light above them. And I see that in a lot of applications. And if you try to come in there and say, "Hey, we're going to do this circadian rhythm, we're going to blast you with light, wake you up, have you more productive," it might actually negatively affect it.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that have light sensitivity issues as well.
Right.
Like some people get migraines when they get, and the other thing is, okay, so we stumbled upon Flickr after, 3 years into the lighting boom. Dr. Arnold Wilkins comes out of retirement and writes an article saying, "Hey, remember me? I just noticed that these things operate on 60 hertz and they're not constant current or constant voltage or whatever it is. And, you may want to think about this before you dive in any further." And then all of a sudden Flickr is an issue. And then, it's like, oh, crap, we didn't think about that. Shoot. Oh, man, what do we do now? And then, this whole idea of having a system that maybe changes color and, this sort of thing. I think it's very, very difficult for artificial lighting to mimic the sun. And that's why it always goes back to, hey, dude, what do you like? All right, man, you got it.
Yeah, I'd love to show you my office right now. We're actually going through it in my individual office. It's not doing it, but out on the sales floor and everywhere, we have the color tuning. So we have 27K up to 65K, but we don't have the control package implemented yet. So our fixture is either 65K and all on, or 65K and 50%, or it's 27K and all on. So we've got a yellow area right outside my window and a white area. So nasty looking, but you can definitely, I think the concept makes sense of being able to color tune, but then you got to do it for everybody, because somebody might like white light, somebody might like yellow, and I'm doing it here more of a test. Whether it'll actually take place in the marketplace on an everyday application, I don't know. I think the idea is there, but I'm not sure it will.
Okay, have you sat down with someone yet and said, "Listen, so I'm going to put in these fixtures, and there's going to be a control. And when you come in the morning, it's going to be 2200 Kelvin. And then it's going to change slowly over the course of the day. And it's going to peak at, 6500 Kelvin around 1:30. And then as the day goes on, it's going to slowly change back to 2000 Kelvin. And we're also going to match the timer to the daylight cycle of, Toronto latitude, and we're going to sync it to the daylight savings time change in November, so that your indoor lighting system is completely matching what's going on outside in terms of color, temperature, in terms of bright changes in brightness and all sorts of stuff. I think my customers might look at me and go, "What are you talking about, buddy?"
Yeah,
Make it 5,000K in my factory, buddy.
Right. Yeah. I have
man.
not sat down with anybody. I'm doing it here as a test to see, but I don't know if it's ever going to make a lot of sense. I mean, the cost is the big negative factor.
We didn't ask with Guytree. We didn't ask it. What is the average increase in per square foot building cost of implementing wall, and what percentage of that is lighting? That would have been a good question.
I think it depends on what they're doing, and that's kind of what that question was about. Is there low cost options? And it sounds like there might be some ways you can do a low cost upgrade to.
Yeah, that's put in a window.
Yeah, that's not low cost usually.
Oh, maybe not.
But,
yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. And then we're working in that retrofit environment. We should have asked her too, like how many of these projects are new construction and how many are retrofit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We got to think about this stuff beforehand, man.
I had some retrofit and on my sheet, but I didn't get to that.
It's my fault, friend. You gotta say no. Don't end it. No, but you know what?
You want to talk about sunglasses and elephants and chimpanzees,
dude? But this is the whole thing. It's like from the artificial lighting world is telling people now you need more light. You don't have enough light, and then the sunglasses and sunscreen people are saying, "Oh God, that sunscreen is bad." And the arguments are completely the opposite arguments. I want to sit down someone from what's that sunglasses brand, Ray-Ban or something like that in Oakley, sit them on one side of the table, and then they're going to bring out their research papers, and then we're going to get some lighting people on the other side of the table, and they're going to square off. You need more light. Yeah. No, you need to cover your eyes. No, you need more light. No, it's crazy, dude. It's completely nuts. And then you get to that natural light in your skin, but no, you need this zinc oxide cream. Rub it on there, man. If you go out without your SPF 15, you're screwed. You're gonna get skin cancer. No, you need more. Is artificial light at 120 lux gonna give us skin cancer?
I hope not.
I mean, who knows what the hell's gonna go on here, man? I've lost my mind again.
Right.
But
losing. Yeah, but it's a good point though. It's like you said, it's two opposite ends, and what's the right answer? I don't know that there's a right answer in any of this stuff, and that's where I keep going back to. And you've questioned a lot are the studies and what's proof, and it's there is some proof. We just don't really know what the proof is, and we don't have the exact stats on it. But it's overall, it's just going to be better. How does that sound? Sounds good.
So I mean, I don't know what to say with all this kind of thing, because for a lot of it all comes back to the reason why we started this podcast in the first place, right? We're sitting at the back of the room with Lightfair, and we said to each other, "Hey, man," at 5 minutes in, "Hey, Greg, you think this guy's ever sold a light bulb to anybody in his life? Not a chance.
Nope.
Want to get a beer? Sure, man. Let's go."
Yep.
We're out of here.
Right.
I think a lot of the people that spend time talking about this stuff have never had to face a customer, like the end user, and look them in the eye and say, "Buy this, pay double for this, or pay more for this." Because that's hard to do, man, in our position, and that's why you listen to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, or that's why you listen to the Lighthead online video show, because you want to get the real truth. You want to get a grip, man. So all you audience listeners out there, thanks for listening to our first recap.